Professor, would take one more question, please.
Yeah, my name is Sanjay. I'm based in Japan. My question is very simple. That couple of years ago, there was a revolution in India with PCO in every village and town. PCO, the telephone STD people can do. Then PCO, public telephone system.
Sorry. Okay.
Couple of years ago, every village had it.
Yeah.
Then this mobile revolution came. People have, the taxi wallas has, everybody have it.
Sure.
Now I'm wondering, the next revolution, and since I've been in Japan for 13 years, and I learned about how they manage knowledge, and my PhD thesis is also managing knowledge, I thought that I come from Jhansi, which is a small town in UP. But I got a couple of scholarships in Australia, in New Zealand, in Japan, and I had no help from anybody. So I built up my career by myself, and I taught at Thunderbird University, you might know, in Phoenix, in Glendale. They have a campus in Tokyo. So I'm teaching at MBA school. So in other words, I achieved all that without any help from government or any other association or anything, because I got the right information at the right time, and I act on that. And Japanese do that all the time. So I'm wondering, what do you think about this idea that the Indian government give $100 computer, second-hand used from Japan, import on ration card to each and every individual in India? Is $100 used computers on ration card to each and every Indian in India? Is possible, because the Prime Minister of India was here a couple of days ago, and they are very keen, and the quality of Japanese products is very high, and used computers of Japan can be used by anybody. So I was wondering, do you agree with it? And if you do, then how we can act that it can be implemented? Because government doesn't have to do anything just to make a system so that millions of computers used could be imported and distributed in the ration system, which already exists.
From what I hear, Nandan Nilekani is actually exploring these kinds of possibilities, and that's clearly an area which I'm sure will be received with some approbation in the system, because we are IT-led, many of our ideas and so on, and possibilities. So I think this is certainly, and then we are getting cheap computers from Negroponte and Intel and so on, and our own people will also be inventing, like Tata's inventing or making nano and so on. So I think that level of technology, I think, will certainly develop. And actually, from Vikram Sarabhai's days, we've been thinking of using even space programs and space technology to access education in the villages and so on. So I think that orientation has been there on the part of our scientists and our politicians. Whether it can be accelerated and to embrace your interesting idea, I think it's certainly a possibility. I'd be fairly optimistic, and I think it really does help bring in development from below, and that is the most important part of it. I remember Rajiv Gandhi wanting a laptop in every lap, but that was at a time when it was so expensive. Then the person who actually told him not to do it was in fact the current Prime Minister, because you see, being an economist, he said, if you try and finance this at that time, and it will bust the bank. You'll get massive inflation, deficit financing, and so on. But today it's possible, right? So we are now in a different situation where ideas like yours really have a major play. And I think we have science, we've got a willing government, and we've got ideas. I think it certainly is a very potent combination, which I think is, which can really transform the lives of our villages. In fact, democracy has really come to villages in a more intensified way, because villages go around with these wretched cell phones and so on, right? I mean, talking a mile a minute, and they can eliminate the intermediaries and so on, and they can find out what prices, etc. So what they earn from what they produce and sell has actually improved. So I think a whole lot of possibilities are there around this revolution. So I'm glad you raised that question. Thank you.
Thank you. I will try to follow it.
Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, for want of time, permit me to to conclude this session on behalf of all of you, on behalf of the Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs, on behalf of the whole of Government of India. I thank Professor Bhagavati for his very illuminating, very scintillating oration. And I'm quite sure in the years to come, Pravasi Bhartiya celebration would have eminent speakers, eminent scholars like him to address the gathering. Once again, I thank all of you for your patience and for your cooperation. Again, forgive me for disappointing many of you who wanted to ask questions to Professor Bhagavad. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nair, Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, for conducting that session. Thank you, Professor Jagdish Bhagwati. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this session. A shuttle service for the dinner venue will leave at 6:15 and 6:30 p.m. from the main gate of Vigyan Bhavan. And if you're already in your hotels, it would have left there at 6:30 too. So please join us for dinner at the Chief Minister's residence for a cultural program by the Sahitya Kala Parishad, followed by dinner at the Chief Minister's residence. Shuttle buses will leave at 6:15 and 6:30 from the main gate in Vigyan Bhavan. I'll see you all tomorrow for the plenary session.